exactly what happened. Love, yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations again on a fantastic movie. As I mentioned, there are 10 Oscar nominations sitting on the stage. Sorry, I'm not pulling my weight there. But I actually want to go back to the beginning and ask, what was your first job as an actor? The first time you either got paid for it or you considered yourself, a professional?
Well, Jodie's story is going to be much better than but I will just want to say thank you, Janelle.
No, of course.
Because Laura Dern was going to be here with us tonight, but she wasn't able to come.
Yeah.
So you showed up, and we really appreciate that.
I
So
wanna-
it's really kind of you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Okay, so now, over to Jodie.
My first job was the commercial reporter. I have a vague memory of them trying to put me in a two-piece bikini, and I'd never worn two-piece before, so yeah, because I was kind of upset about it. And I also remember the other little boy playing my brother fell overboard. It was like a houseboat on a river or a lake or something in Northern California. So it was one of those.
Wow, I can't remember what I had for lunch today.
Yeah, that's it.
For you?
Well, I guess it was, there was a parenting program of somebody's phone's going on. It's flashing. Sorry, is everything okay? Anyway, so there was a television show that was made in San Diego by the public television station about parenting. There was a parenting, this is really boring. There was a parenting like a program for parents. It was called PET, Parent Effectiveness Training. And so they made a television show about it, so we were like examples of families, and I'm the teenage daughter, and I got $400 for it, I remember, because I saved the check.
Did you ever cash it?
Wait a minute. How was that? Maybe I got it back.
Or maybe you caught me at that?
Oh, that's right, they check, you got checks back.
Back in the old days.
Yeah, it was like 8 or something.
Yeah. So I did get $400, so I do remember that, but that was like a lot of money.
Wow.
Amazing.
No, that's fantastic. Again, congratulations on your beautiful performances. It is inspiring.
I met Bonnie and Diana at, first I met Diana at NPR. I was doing research for a Brave One, and I heard her voice come over the last because she was in the room next to us. And then after whatever it was that I was doing on TV with her, and she's filling in for somebody. And it was something like a scientist or something that she was interviewing, and she knew everything about some arcane kind of scientific thing. And then I kept meeting Bonnie and Diana at like barbecues and friends' houses and at a Christmas party, and because they go everywhere together. There's no place in the world that they're not together. So and they bicker, and so it was just fun watching them. And I thought, oh wow, when the script finally, when I first read the script, I thought like, oh, that's Bonnie and Diana, of course.
And so you knew that they were swimmers.
I knew they were swimmers. I knew them before the final swim. And then, and my wife knows them pretty well, so when the final swim happened, everybody was so ecstatic.
Amazing. Annette, for you?
I certainly didn't know them personally. I had heard about Diana, and I'd heard about the swim, and I used to listen to her on NPR. She had, what's the name of the show? It's like The Beat or The Take. It was like she had a personal commentary thing on NPR where she would weigh in on controversial sports subjects, and I'm an NPR kind of junkie. So I remember hearing her voice, and then I also became aware of her. Just over the years, I knew about her. I didn't know, and I didn't really follow the swim at the time or anything, or the swims. So I knew a little bit about her, but I didn't know.
I love how this movie focuses on this, long-time female friendship, which is something you don't really see much of in entertainment. And so much of it hinges on the chemistry between the two of you. And I don't know if there's like a secret club or like, oh, sorry. I know because they're telling me my voice was too low. I hear the opposite. So I don't know if there's like a secret club or like the best actors in the world all hanging out together.
this last week, but once we were at the Oscars, I can't remember, we were both at the Oscars at the same time, and we were both wearing the same dress. And for some version of the same dress, and it was like an international incident. I got a call, and they were like, "You're gonna be wearing the same dress." I was like, "Oh, shit." And Annette said, "Well, I don't care either." And then we both went, and it was just fine. We all lived. Yeah.
Armani.
Did you end up under who wore it better? Or didn't
No, I think nobody minded. I think
They got mad at me because I when I was photographed, I wore like a cape over it. They were like, "Oh no, you wore the cape." And we into the dressing room. Who cares? That's right. I forgot that.
No, so
Jodie, see, we have
See.
And then you went to the secret club together.
Then we went to
Like
the
your
secret
denying
club where
exists.
people hang out
Yes.
and talk about chemistry.
Julia Cox's script, she's an extraordinary dialogue writer, and the quality was always there. I mean, I think that from the first read, there was that lived-in quality, and I think we recognized that immediately and said more of that.
I mean, you both have pretty amazing track records with the projects you pick, so I'm sort of curious, what is it that, has to speak to you for you to sign on to something? Is it the script first? Is it the other actors? Or probably changes from project to project?
Well, in this case, I was signed on, and then we were trying to get Jodie to do it. So they said they were going to send it to her, and then I thought, oh, she'll never do it. Because she's selective, and she's got class, and she doesn't know me, and she just said she's lazy, which she's not. And so then when they said, oh, she's interested, and then I was really excited. And then I got to meet her. She came to my house. And she sized me up. She said, okay, what's she really like? And we talked.
She had a lot of Christmas tchotchkes. I
And
know.
I have a big dog, and she loves dogs, so that helped.
What kind of dog?
Newfoundland.
Oh,
Big dog. And she is so wet and huge. It's like having a wet bear in your house that wanders around and shakes. Yeah, especially tonight. Just so you all know, she weighs 130 pounds. She's gentle and sweet.
When we were doing rehearsals, she'd get scared anytime that anyone yelled at each other. She would just she'd angle up and just get really scared.
She's very sensitive. She runs and hides if people fight.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so we just, and also, we spent a lot of time with Bonnie and Diana, which was really fun, because we would spend time with them separately, and then the four of us would get together, and then after the four of us would get together, then Jodie and I would get together and say, oh yeah, did you see she did that, and then she did that, and did you notice when she said blah, 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 and after she said yeah, that. So yeah, we were just really on watching them, and they're so entertaining. I mean, they're in life, they're just super energetic. They make us look like slouches. They're just so keyed into life and so excited, and they just have a lot of energy, obviously, to do this kind of crazy thing that they did. So yeah, that was really a fun thing to build that, and to observe them.
Yeah, their family. I mean, they're each other's family. They spend every single day together. At some point, even if Bonnie or Diana says, I don't want to see you today, they're still on the phone.
Diana's calling her.
Yeah, they really got into tennis, of course.
Oh, and they just won a
They
trophy.
just won a big trophy. They won it over 65 at their for tennis.
They're big tennis players now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got that picture of the two of them with their trophy, the over 70s or whatever.
The interesting thing is that they play doubles, but not on the same team. Because Bonnie gets really mad at her. Because Diana talks during the thing and then doesn't pay attention when there's something wrong. Bonnie yells at her, and
Yeah,
Diana's
and
like, "Why are you yelling at me?"
Bonnie's a serious racquetball player. She was a world-class racquetball player.
wow.
So anyway, this has nothing to do with it. But this is serious cinema crowd.
Well, I've had the opportunity to meet both of them, and what you're describing is exactly from moment one you see it. And also I know that they have both said that watching your performances, they became aware of things that they didn't know they did. As I remember Bonnie specifically was like, I didn't know I used my hands so much. Yeah.
There's a few things she hasn't divulged that she's like, oh, do I really do that? That Jodie was doing. Yeah, Bonnie has said that. Yeah, she wouldn't even say what it is, but yeah.
She said you were studying her. She was been studying her the whole time, and she didn't even know it.
Well, they're all pretty obvious. She was very nervous when I came to her house at first, and I was like, I looked at her closet, and she's like, you're looking at my stuff, and it's neat, but then it was just like, gray t-shirt. Shorts.
And also, like, you were talking for a long time, right? And she was
Oh yeah, she doesn't, she can't, she has a little bit of ADD, so she can't actually talk to you for more than 5 minutes. She keeps saying, this is the longest conversation I've ever had.
The movie, something I really appreciate about the script and the film itself is it does not shy away from showing the pricklier aspects of Diana. Was she okay with that?
I think that the entire subject of how to depict her was really a challenge for her. She's an incredibly insightful and very charismatic woman, but if you could imagine for a moment, each of you, someone's making a movie of your life, and they want to show all sides of you. Yeah, I think it was a little challenging and for her, which of course I totally understood, and I knew that we needed to create a character arc for her. So, and she does have a side that's hard, maybe we all do, but she has a heart that's hard for her to see, and she has a single-mindedness and a kind of thing about her, obviously, which is why she's able to do the swim, that does, I don't know how to put it, maybe you can put it better. I mean, she sometimes isn't aware maybe of how other people are feeling. But I also feel like that we don't see these kinds of characters very often because of what that means socially. It's like women are supposed to behave a certain way. If Muhammad Ali says, I'm king of the world, and he's an athlete, we all kind of go, well, that's what a guy does. But if a woman says it's the Mount Everest of swims, then people are maybe not as comfortable with that. But she was very understanding, and she knew that we had to take certain liberties in order to create a narrative, because real life stories don't have narratives. And I think she began to trust me, and we got to know each other very well, and I got to have very intimate conversations with her, and I think she began to understand that there had to be some things that just did not happen, that we needed to put in the movie in order to create a story. And she was good with that. And then when she eventually saw the movie, which is what I always felt in the back of my head, is once she sees the entire thing, then she'll say, oh, it's okay. But there were moments, I think it was tough for her.
Did she, I think maybe one of your directors, which I can't believe, by the way, Jimmy Chin and Chai Asarelli, this is their debut narrative feature film. They won the Academy Award for Drunk Master. It's just stunning to me, like right out of the gate, how great they are with actors. They said that she said something kind of offhanded, like, I'm not that mean, or something like that, and Bonnie was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the dynamic of Shannon, too, is that Bonnie will be the one to sort of say, Diana, come on. It's really very funny. And Diana will tell the story, and then Bonnie will say, that never happened. And Diana's just a natural, she's a charismatic storyteller. And anybody that's a storyteller has to embellish it a little bit, right? I mean, that's the deal. My husband certainly does. Not to name drop, but yeah. Like, he'll tell his story and I'll think, oh, that's a little different this time, isn't it? I don't know that I know how to do that, but Diana's definitely, she's just a character. And she's like a wind machine, you know, she's just like out there and so much fun to be around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Knowing that you're going to play this part, I want to talk about all the transformation, but first of all, the physical.
There was not. Only because I didn't really think about the swimming first. No, I'm not kidding, which sounds ridiculous. But I read the script and I just loved it. I just thought it was such a great story. And I loved how impossible she was. I loved that about her. And I loved the character. And I thought, man, have I never seen this. Not only that, but the relationship between these two women. And so no, I just immediately grabbed it and thought, this is great. I was so curious about her. I was so stimulated by the idea of trying it. And then I really thought, oh no, wait a minute, like swimming. Swimming and me in a bathing suit. That was the other thing I hadn't really thought about. Wait a minute. Me in a bathing suit. Wait, what am I thinking? Yes, it's a great part, but so I had to really.
On the phone, you said to me, oh, you know, you're so brave. I'm like, brave? I'm not the one who's getting in the water in my bathing suit at night. I heard this and it was just like a pause.
Yes.
I realized it and I hadn't thought about it.
You're right. I remember when you said that. I remember where I was sitting in my house, and she said, "Yeah, I'm not getting in the bathing suit in the middle of the night, Annette." And I thought, oh yeah, that I am doing that. Shit. So, yeah, no, but that's okay in a way. I mean, I think that I've you know, I have that tendency in life. I do dive in and then figure it out and afterwards, and that's all right. You know, I learned a lot. I was very humbled. I was really humbled by the swimming because I'm in pretty good shape and I exercise and I have since I was 20, and then I got in the pool and I thought, oh, like the hand going in the water and, you know, the whole stroke, and it was a lot of work, and I loved that, and I loved the challenge. So it ended up being cool that I got to have that big challenge. But you know, when you're doing it, I mean, now we're talking about it in retrospect, right? And when you're doing it, you're just filled with uncertainty. You just know, well, maybe, you know, I'll do some, and then maybe they'll have stunt people do some. And I don't know, am I going to be able to do it or not? I've certainly never been in a tank in the Dominican Republic, making a movie by a boat. I mean, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I wasn't quite sure what would happen. And then we also got delayed a little bit, so I got to swim a little bit more, I got to train a little bit. But also Jodie was with her trainer.
Yeah.
She was like, Annette, I have to eat chicken or whatever. You were eating a certain diet, and you were very very disciplined about your workout regime. Where you, Jodie?
Yes, I was.
And didn't you, I mean, I feel like you spent more than a year preparing for this part. I don't know if that was because of delays or.
But yeah, I think it was about a year, but that was great because then I hired an Olympic a swimmer, Rita Owen, who was in the Olympics in Sydney. Is that Rita over there? Those are Rita's parents.
Rita's peeps.
Oh!
How did she do?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You're kind of on the spot though, aren't you? No, Rita's awesome, and she teaches kids. So she teaches beginners all the time, and she still loves to swim, which I think matters because some athletes get burned out and they don't really love the sport anymore, but she does. So she was very patient, and she knew how to train me, and she understood the demands of a movie. You know, I didn't actually swim from Cuba to Florida. I just pretended that I was swimming. And so, you know, there was a lot of, okay, cut, all right, reposition the boat. I got to swim over to the little warm spot with the tank where they have this like a warm spigot coming out. So we really worked a lot together, and it's great having a challenge, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that's
great.
part of the adventure. It's the way you do it, and it's the way that you enter into the skin of the character is through physicality and through being obsessed with the same thing that they were obsessed with. So that's our job for 6 months is to be obsessed.
Getting to meet your real life counterparts, I'm curious, was there anything or maybe something you picked up in your research that it didn't make its way overtly into the film, but really like informed your performance? There was like something specific that you sort of felt was the key to them.
Well, I know for sure there's like a look in Diana's eye, and I don't know that I have that look in my eye, but I know it was very important to me. And I still see it all the time in her. There's a kind of thing behind her eye, even as she's, you know, she speaks in public all the time. She's a motivational speaker. She did TED Talks. She's a ham. But there's also something very soft in her, and something very soulful, and open, and you know, she's been through a lot. And we touch on it in the movie, and we didn't want to overdo it. But as someone who grew to love her, and that I'm on her side, I'm her advocate, that I have to say I really thought a lot about was her inside, the things that happened to her when she was a kid. She wrote a beautiful book, by the way, that is great, and the movie's based on it. But if you like this kind of thing, she writes beautifully about being in water and about the soulful, sort of spiritual part of this whole thing for her. She's very eloquent about.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the dynamic, and am continually fascinated by how people's lives are influenced by these dynamics, whether it's with their parents or with their family members or with their partnership. And there's something about women of a certain age, maybe a generation just slightly before mine, who had to choose, you know, a sort of pre-feminist era where they had to choose between the life that they wanted and being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And so their family became their friends because their birth families couldn't accept them as they were. And that's a real thing. It's a real thing of you know, lesbians who have chosen these families, very often ex-partners, who know them better than anybody. And it's just this lovely cocoon of people that you know how to love.
Yeah.
And the way the two of them have developed in concert as partners is in some ways is very, very beautiful, but is also sort of tragic too, you know, like the part of Bonnie that says, you know, when I'm just like, I'm just here to clap for you, you know, what about my life? What about that? That's very true in a relationship, and it has influenced Bonnie. Even the fact, you know, there was a strike, right? You guys all know there was a strike. And during the strike, we couldn't participate in any of the Q&As and all this stuff in opening up the film for people. And neither could Diana, because she's an SAG member as well. So Bonnie had to go out with the producers and with the directors, and she had to go all over the world and talk. She does not talk. So she usually lets Diana talk, and then just harumphs over on the side and is like, yeah, whatever, come on, let's go. You know, and for the first time, she had to be front and center, and that was terrifying to her. It was uncomfortable in the beginning, and then she realized there was a whole new side of her that is just a muscle that she hadn't used because she had Diana. It's kind of like not learning how to use the remote when you're married. Because who's gonna do it, you know? And then suddenly getting divorced and realizing you don't know how to use it. Wow. And so, and I think that's true for both of them. There's a kind of, you know, codependence, normal codependence, but that's quite beautiful, but that is also sort of handicapping for both of them.
I had, because I saw Bonnie quite a bit when I could
When
learn how to
it was
speak,
just that.
and I had no idea that
Yeah.
she was at all hesitant. She was fantastic.
She was,
She got into it. She got really into it.
Yeah.
She started to fall in love with it, and she was like, yeah, I have my own car in London. And I got to go wherever I wanted to go. And yeah, she did. She got really into it. She had her one-liners.
Yeah, she had a couple
No,
of
she's
minors.
great. Never would have known. That's amazing.
Yeah.
She may have found a second career then.
There you go.
Yeah. Although it's not fair. She gets to be good at tennis and swimming and now performing. No. We have to draw the line somewhere. I am curious because we were talking about your directors, and you've both worked with so many amazing directors over the years. You are an amazing director. What is it you hope for from a director when you show up to set?
You know, it's interesting how important organization is, especially, Jodie's howling, especially when you're making a movie on the water, because everything takes 3 times as long. So preparation and scheduling, and I know that there's some place where Kazan, the great director, was talking about scheduling, and I think a lot of the great movie directors are really into that, because they sort of have to be. Especially if you're going to make an expensive movie. I mean, inexpensive as well. You have to be very. So there's so many machines involved, and I'm sure there's a lot of professionals here. There's so many machines that you have to plan. So you have to do all this planning, and then hopefully capture something that's totally surprising when you say action. So it's preparation. There's so much to preparation and knowing how to prepare, and knowing how to prepare actors as well. I mean, sometimes we did have quite a bit of time together. We worked on the script a lot, all of us together. We talked a lot about the structure and changed things and worked with it.
Yeah, I mean, everything's important. The director makes every choice, and it's their vision, and it's their signature, and the film is a product of the things that they recognize as them. So it's a piece of them. So when you get into bed with the director, it's like, you better know who they are, because you hope that you're on the same page.
It's their medium.
It's their,
Yeah,
and
for
there's
sure.
really only so much we can do. We show up as the characters, and we hopefully we have ideas or advice or whatever, but ultimately it's their show. So that's always hard. I think that a great director is like a great parent. They have 2 things. One is they say the train is leaving the station at 8 and it will arrive at 9:30. And then they say, as the train is moving, yeah, wow, look how cool it is, you can do that on your own. It's a combination of being sort of, I don't want to say rigid, but I think having an idea of where things are headed and where they're going. So a big picture idea, but then this sort of cheerleader positive love that a parent has.
Yeah.
It's sort of like both things.
Yeah. I'm curious, because you have both played so many iconic roles, I can't even begin to start listing them. When people see you, at Starbucks, when you walk into Starbucks last year, what is it that they most want to talk about? Is there a particular film or a project that comes up the most?
I always did the Father Beans in the Can.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. I've had all kinds of different moments. I'm thinking about when I went to Cuba, and I was in the airport, and a guy, this was quite a few years ago, and I just made Kids Are All Right, and a guy came up to me in the airport, and he said, we saw that movie, and I think they have to get it on their satellite. It's not easy to get there, right? And also there's a lot of homophobia, if I may say, in Cuba. So he was talking about how in his community they had all watched it and how much it meant to them. That was just this funny moment I'm remembering. So Kids Are All Right, and American President, and actually recently NYAD.
I know that.
I was just on a plane and a lady was like, love NYAD. I was inspired. And I talked to a guy who said to me, yeah, my wife made me watch it. And then I was like, I need to get back on my exercise. He was like, you did a good job. So that was cool.
Before we go, and I'm so sorry we're out of time, because Jodie was just about to tell us how True Detective ends. I actually cheated, I know. It's so good, you guys. I do want to ask if everyone can stay seated, because they actually have to be somewhere. But I want to thank you for being a great audience, and thank you so much. I hope you want to stay dressed